First of all, what's the latest team news ahead of Leeds on Sunday?
Not too much. So Christoph Zimmermann had his ankle surgery. He will be out for several weeks. But apart from this, more or less all the players are available.
Is Billy Gilmore back in contention for this weekend?
Yes, Billy is always in my head. So all the players have the chance to shine during the training week. And yes, don't want to speak too much about my starting lineup, but all the players are available. Yes.
Now, after the heavy defeat to Chelsea, how difficult has this past week been?
Yes, it's always tough after conceding 7 goals. It's a result that hurts a lot and is then pretty painful. And the first days are unbelievably difficult. Yeah? It's more like then when you've spoken about this, when you have analyzed the game and you start also your training process, it improves. But of course, after conceding 7 goals, we need a few days to pick ourselves up. But since the middle of the week, I got the feeling so it's more and more we are not looking too much back. It's more like focus on what we will face in the future. And yeah, the near future is Leeds, and everyone is really focused on showing also response. Of course, after losing a game 7-0, we know against such an opponent sometimes it can happen. It's especially the top 3 at the moment are a bit on a different level on this level, you have to say. And if you're not there with your best performance, something like this can then sometimes happen. But yeah, of course, and it's also a bit like, you want to show some pride anyhow, and also want to respond. And this is also the task for tomorrow, for Sunday, sorry.
And how are the team at the moment?
Yes, like I mentioned, so the first days we were all pretty disappointed and down after such a result, and you should be like this. So it's also important to feel a bit the pain and that it hurts to concede such a loss. But I got the feeling it's more like from day to day, we were then really focused, and it's also not that we have raised the white flag. We know, so at the moment, just with 2 points after 9 games, it's not the outcome that we wanted to have, and especially also not a big loss against Chelsea is not such a result what you want to experience as a group anyhow. But we also have focused also a bit on the weeks before when we were there with more than decent performance, especially the Brighton game, also the Burnley game. It started already with a good defensive behavior against Everton anyhow. The last weeks in general, we were definitely on the right path. Yes, if you then lose a game with a heavy defeat, it's a bit like then you've lost, of course, your momentum. But in football, things change pretty quick, and we are focused and want to win the momentum back.
Because Norwich City Sporting Director Stuart Webber says that everyone's in this together. So how encouraging is that for you to hear that you have the support during this difficult time?
I'll be honest, it was not that I was 1% anyhow wasting my energy and time to think about such a topic. So it's more like the only thing is more like I'm just concentrated and focused on helping my players. Yeah, we are more or less the underdog in this league, but we are also I also spoke quite honest about this before the season started. That I got the feeling as a club were much and are much better prepared than in comparison to 2 years ago. So it's still up to us to prove this also with results. So for a self-funding club like us with a bit restricted financial opportunities, it will always be a big challenge to be competitive on this level. But I still got the feeling so we've got a chance. And let's be honest, also the first 9 games anyhow, it was also tough in terms of fixtures. So we had 7 games against the top 10 in the table, and right now also period comes we will play also a bit against the teams who are a bit closer, nearer to us in the table. And again, each and every game on this level is difficult, especially for newly promoted sides. It's not a guarantee that you will win then the next 5 games or so. But we know that right now it's also like it's a bit like a crunch time period for us. In this next games we need to win as many points as possible, and the jury will be out after the season, not after 9 game days. So it's always where you are then after 38 games, and for that we haven't given up hope. So we're not happy with the status quo at the moment, but we will keep fighting, keep going.
Leeds are struggling for form too at the moment. So how big of an opportunity is this for the club? As you've touched on there, it would be a perfect response to Chelsea.
Well, after losing 0-7, I don't want to speak about perhaps some weaker results of other teams anyhow. So we are always then self-critical and focused on ourselves. On this level, each and every game is of course a chance anyhow, and we are pretty respectful. We know that Leeds has done overall fantastic in the last 2 years. yes, perhaps also not the best weeks for them in the bigger picture, but we're still pretty respectful. But we also know, of course, yeah, in home games against the teams who are also a bit in the bottom half of the table, we want to win points, and for that, of course, it's more or less like, okay, in this home games, especially after heavy loss, anyhow, of course we want to deliver, but just because we want to focus on ourselves, and even against the top side, like against Brighton, we were able to win points at home, and it was more or less unlucky that we didn't win this game. And we know when we are there with our best performance, we definitely have a chance on Sunday, and this is what we want to make sure. We want to be there with the top performance.